What if I told you that the US government is fueling a border crisis with billions in funding, and that non-governmental organizations are allegedly helping illegal immigrants break the law, on purpose? Today, I break down the explosive testimony of Mike Howell, president of the Oversight Project, before a congressional committee. Before I dive in, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any truth bombs I drop here. Now let's get into it. Mike Howell didn't come empty-handed. He opened by identifying himself as the president of the Oversight Project, a visiting fellow at the Heritage Foundation, and a board member of the National Immigration Center for Enforcement. But his real reason for testifying? To sound the alarm. According to Howell, assaults on ICE officers are up over 830%, and he blames fiery political rhetoric from Democrat lawmakers. He called out members of Congress directly, citing quotes encouraging violence and radical action. Howell says this isn't just political theater, it's creating real danger for the men and women of ICE. As Howell launched into his prepared statement, all hell broke loose. One member raised a point of order, claiming Howell's remarks were outside the hearing's scope. What followed was a heated back-and-forth party-line votes and even a motion to table. But ultimately, the chairman overruled the objection. Howell was allowed to speak. And what he said next shook the room. Subscribe for the full breakdown. More bombshells ahead. If you're just joining or haven't yet, hit that subscribe button now. This story is only getting deeper. Howell claimed that the Biden administration partnered with over 200 nonprofits and 15 UN agencies, pumping $6 billion into what he calls the border industrial complex. These organizations allegedly moved illegal migrants across the U.S., undermining federal immigration law. He argued these NGOs aren't really non-governmental, they're funded by the government, protected by the government, and now, according to Howell, doing the government's dirty work. The Oversight Project used cell phone data from 30,000 devices, tracking migrants as they spread into 431 congressional districts. Howell detailed incidents like a New York shelter giving out fake residency papers, pro-Biden flyers at camps in Mexico, and even illegal immigrants being advised how to lie to ICE. He didn't stop there. He showed documented cases of non-citizens admitting to voter registration in Arizona, Georgia, Minnesota, and North Carolina. The implications? Massive. According to Howell, we're not just facing a border crisis. We're facing a nationwide destabilization effort. He names radical groups like 5051, Flare, and the Party for Socialism and Liberation, accusing them of inciting violence and organizing chaos disguised as protest. He urged Congress to reconsider how protest permits are issued, especially to groups with violent records. And his closing words? A warning. This crisis didn't end with Biden's election. It's still happening right now. ICE assaults, $6 billion NGO scandal, voter fraud, radical networks. Mike
Center for Enforcement. I especially thank you for giving me a platform to plead with members of this body, all on the Democrat side, to stand down on their threats against the men and women of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The violence is getting out of control, and it is fueled by the demagoguery of politicians. Whether it is one of your members telling Axios that there needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public, another saying civility isn't working and to prepare for violence, or even a member of this committee being arrested for forcibly impeding and interfering with federal officials, this escalation deserves condemnation. It needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. Assaults against ICE officers are up over 830%, and that's a lowball estimate. There have been violent incidents in Alvarado, McAllen,
Would the gentleman suspend briefly? Yes, Mr.
So I got a point of order. Pursuant to Clause 2K8 of Rule 11, I raise a point of order that this testimony is outside the scope of the hearing.
I would object to that position, Mr. Chairman. That's absurd.
I would object as well.
Man has a right to his 5 minutes of testimony. Clearly, the Democrats don't want to hear truth. I object to the ranking member's ridiculous position.
The point of order offered by the ranking member is not in order. This individual has the opportunity to summarize his opening statement and the information upon which he used to form that opening statement, so the objection is overruled.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, obviously, I'm going to appeal the ruling of the chair and ask for a vote. But again, you know, this guy has an opinion.
Mr. Chairman.
Wait, do you?
Mr. Chairman.
No, I respect it.
The chair has ruled that his testimony is part of the basis upon which he is briefing this committee, and it will be used to talk about his ultimate findings as it relates to the purpose of this committee. I understand your objection. The objection has been overruled. If you would like to challenge that, you are welcome to challenge that. Is the ranking member challenging the ruling of the chair?
Mr. Chairman, I challenge the ruling of the chair.
Is
and
there a
appeal.
motion?
I have a motion.
What's that motion, Mr.
Motion
Higgins?
to table.
There is a motion to table. The gentleman has moved that the motion to table, this is privileged and non-debatable. So we will then, is there a second to the motion to table?
I second.
Motion and several seconds of the motion to table. All those in favor of tabling the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
In the ruling of the chair, the ayes have it and the motion is tabled.
Mr. Chairman, I ask for a recorded vote.
As do I.
A recorded vote has been requested. We would ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Chairman Guest votes aye.
The clerk will report the tally.
Mr. Chairman, on that vote, there were 9 ayes and 8 noes.
Without objection, she will be allowed to sit and question witnesses, but not allowed to vote on any matters. Any other issues that need to be taken up? Mr. Howell, you are recognized once again to continue your summation of your opening statement.
Thank you. Reclaiming my time. The violence, obstruction, and subversion of the United States that is emanating from so-called non-governmental organizations, unwell individuals, some probably paid, and supported by the political mainstreaming of violent rhetoric from national politicians should not come as a surprise. We saw the writing on the wall during the Biden border crisis, with the sick marriage between the government and so-called non-governmental organizations facilitating illegal immigration. The reason I call these groups so-called non-governmental organizations is because they, for the most part, draw funds from the government or have a preferential tax status from the government. They are more creatures of the government than they are non-governmental. Now, the United States of America is still reeling from the consequences of the worst border invasion in history. This was an invasion that was planned, promoted, encouraged, funded, and sustained by radical elements of the previous administration. This invasion could not have been accomplished without a colossal partnership between the government and open borders organizations. Simply put, under the Biden administration's open border policies, the government could only do so much to facilitate mass illegal immigration, welcome illegal aliens into the United States, and move them around the country. The Biden administration needed help, so they drove an estimated $6 billion to a conglomerate of 15 UN agencies and over 200 nonprofits, as recently calculated by the Center for Immigration Studies, to do the open borders work for them. Now, my organization, the Oversight Project, has led the way on exposing this border industrial complex. In December of 22, we published the first of its kind study tracking the cell phone movement of illegal aliens through these organizations at the border. With only a small sample size of 30,000 devices, we found that these devices went to 431 congressional districts. That's nearly everywhere in the country. In New York, we discovered a taxpayer-funded shelter providing false residency documents to illegals. In Mexico, we discovered flyers at an illegal alien staging camp encouraging illegals to remember to vote for Biden when they got in the U.S. In Arizona, we found a Mexican consulate official at an NGO advising illegals on how to lie to law enforcement and evade ICE. We have produced documentary evidence of non-citizens admitting on camera to being registered to vote in Arizona, Georgia, Minnesota, and North Carolina. This year, we obtained video evidence of an open borders organization in New York City hosting a seminar on how to evade ICE. This is the new trend. Open borders organizations are now in the obstruction of ICE business. Without the partnership and the money of the Biden administration, a blob of nonprofits, legal groups, and foot soldiers are taking to the streets to create chaos. This makes sense because the goal has always been destabilization. This destabilization is happening right here around us. Incendiary and defamatory protest rhetoric linked to the group 5051 and FLAIR, which is formerly the May Day movement, which did No Kings, which many members of this body promoted, and Party for Socialism and Liberation movements are some of the groups that are radicalizing individuals and inciting violence. And this only ends in violence. Now, the Oversight Project has asked this administration, the President Trump's administration, to stop issuing permits for peaceful protest to non-peaceful groups. People should be able to go to work in DC without being spat on, assaulted, or having an air horn blown into their eardrums. This happens all the time. I know firsthand. In conclusion, I'd encourage you all to think broadly about the blob of various organizations and strategies that were involved in sustaining the Biden border crisis and also understand what is still happening today. I thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Howell.
Howell's testimony paints a chilling picture: a government-funded network enabling illegal immigration, suppressing ICE, and empowering radical protests. Whether you agree or not, one thing's clear: this story demands attention. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. Is this a manufactured crisis, or a legitimate humanitarian effort gone wrong? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay informed, and stay free.